is going on, guys? Chris the Marvel Buff Nerd here with another movie review. I know they've been a little spread out lately. I appreciate everybody hanging with me, and I appreciate all the new subscribers I've had in the last week. We went from 58 to 66 people in the last week. Love you guys. Really appreciate that. That is awesome. This is going to be a review for Quiet Place Part 2. I finally got to go see it last night and thoroughly enjoyed it just like I thought I would. I really enjoy John Krasinski and everything he does, everything he's in, because I've loved him since about 2014 as Jim Halpert on The Office, and I've kind of just followed him since then. And then now he's directing a great horror creature feature franchise, or at least I don't know if it's going to turn into a franchise. It seems like this could definitely turn into at least a trilogy. But he's really getting his feet wet in a lot of areas, and I really like watching his career. I really also hope he gets cast as Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe for the upcoming, Fantastic Four movie for Phase 4 in the next few years. So he's somebody I really enjoy a lot. So this movie is just something that's been on my slate for a long time. And it was one of the first ones, I think it might have been the first movie that actually got pushed last year when the whole world fell apart in March and we knew things were really going to change as far as cinema and the box office went. So it was nice to see this one back in theaters because you're getting a big push of that feeling of things are going back to, I hate to say normal, but we're getting back to where we want to be. And this was just a really good time. This had a lot more action in it compared to the first one where it was just real quiet the whole time and you didn't even want to snack or anything. This one has some good, louder action scenes. This one picks up with the day one story, which was really awesome because you get to see what happened and you get a glimpse into this simple little, everybody knows everybody town before things went awry and the world went to shit. Like, you get to see all of these people just hanging out at a town baseball game, watching their kids, communicating, conversing, just being a community. And then things start to go awry and you just quickly, it just, bam. I mean, we're at maximum full 10 here. I mean, shit is hitting the fan everywhere. And it's done great. There's a lot of jump scares in this movie, and they are all earned. I had heard going into this that there was a lot of jump scares in this, and I heard that none of them were cheap. And I can honestly say that after watching it, none of them were cheap at all. Like, every time I had a jump or a quick little scare or something, it was done really well, and the way it played in was just, it was part of the scene, it was part of the story, it was part of the environmental storytelling, building the world we're in. So it was just done really well the way it was written and brought in. But the family gets split up into trio. You follow 3 storylines at one point of the movie. And that's still, at the end of the movie, not huge spoilers here, but that's not resolved. So that's one reason I say that this does, among a myriad of other reasons for this world and this story, but that is one reason I say this movie really caters to a trilogy, to a threequel coming out. Because when we leave this movie, we resolved some of the conflict, but then we have another open conflict with no resolution in that our family is all split up and everything. So we want to see them come back together. Cillian Murphy coming into this was just an amazing addition. I hated that we lost John Krasinski. You're really sad after the opening kind of prologue part, the day one thing, because you realize, oh man, I'm not going to see John Krasinski the rest of the movie. And I just love the dude. Anytime he's on screen, I just follow him. I like him. But Cillian Murphy was an awesome person to be in this movie and be our male lead. Because the thing I liked about him was that when you got into him and the daughter storyline part of it, it really felt like The Last of Us. It's like John Krasinski made a Last of Us movie without trying to make a Last of Us movie in parts. And it was really good. There was a couple plot tropes for this kind of movie, like a creature feature, post-apocalyptic thing, and also as a video game player that's played a lot of these style video games, I was thinking, when they were going out on their journey together, I was thinking they were going to run into some weird Ravager kind of people or something like that. We ran into them at the boat dock, as you see. So that was a cool little payoff for me as a fan of this genre and its tropes that are good tropes. Tropes doesn't have to be a bad word. They've been used for a long time for a reason. So when that came through, that was a cool little payoff for me because I did kind of predict that. I was like, oh, sweet. My little prediction paid off. But yeah, where the story goes, I don't want to spoil too much. I want you to go see this in theaters, but we find some survivors and we have some glimpses of hope in this world, And the deaf daughter, she comes up with a plan with the technology based on, what we saw in the first movie that her and her dad figured out. She comes up with a better plan for that can actually, maybe help the world that has these monsters and whatnot around them. So there was a really good story with her and Cillian Murphy. Then with Emily Blunt's character, she's got to go out and she's got to find some health supplies for her children. So it's life or death for this mother, but it's also life or death for her kids. So she's obviously willing to put her life on the line to go out and get these supplies that her children need in order to survive. There was just maybe one or two small instances where it seemed like the conflict that we were dealing with in the scene was just a little unnecessary or unneeded, and it was honestly just with the oldest son. There's a couple times where I'm just like, okay, we could have, whatever, bud. Okay, it's a stressful time. I'm not trying to be too critical of anything. I overall still, the movie's a 10 out of 10 for me. Not only is it an amazing follow-up to the first movie, it's just an amazing movie on its own. Like, I venture to say that you could almost, if you didn't watch the first movie and you just watch this one in theaters because you just want to watch a good scary movie or good thriller that's in theaters right now, there would be some missing puzzle pieces, but overall, you would still have a really, really good time. And one other thing I have to commend John Krasinski on, the whole thing was directed amazing, and the way that it cut between storylines was done seamlessly. Also, the way that he does the deaf sections for the deaf daughter was just felt so real for what it must be like for somebody in that situation, and the extra element of terror and vulnerability that they have in a life or death situation. That just there was so many times I would go to take a bite of my snack and I wouldn't stop because it got dead quiet. I would because it got dead quiet as well, but it would just be such a tension-filled moment. I was like, oh no, are they going to make it out? And then I'd go ahead and eat after the tension would kind of reside a little bit. So this movie, edge of your seat, very exciting, very thrilling, and I can't recommend it highly enough. Go out to the theaters, support John Krasinski, support your local cinemas. Stay safe, guys. Have a good one.